to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions. The national flag and the national anthem, that is your fundamental duty. That means you need to abide by the Constitution, to strive towards excellence in all sphere of individual and collective activity. The nutritious food are being given to the kids. Why? Because we need to actually make sure their health and nutrition is maintained. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students for this unit that's all about the constitutional values in practice. Let's know what we have in the first, the fundamental rights. Now here, fundamental rights, what exactly they are. The first thing itself you need to understand is they're called fundamental, that is basic of the basic. And we have 6 fundamental rights, namely from the first to the last. I'll tell you how to remember it. I would have given it here properly, but anyhow, you need to understand. Let's go with this A, B, C, D, E, F. Just understand the pattern here, right? Anybody can remember. That is what anybody can remember. I'll just tell you. Now C, in the sense cultural and educational right. So in that A, B, anybody, just understand. From C is cultural and educational right. Now here, please do understand, there is something called E, equality, F, freedom. The same way, whenever there is a problem, you have the constitutional, right? You have what? Constitution. So you have constitutional remedies. And if anybody is exploiting you, you are supposed to go against. That is exploitation, you are supposed to voice out. So right against exploitation. So these are the things which you are supposed to remember. So the first fundamental right is all about right to equality. The next is right to freedom. The next is right against exploitation. Next is right to freedom of religion. You can practice your own religion whenever you want to change, you can change it. You have all the freedom for your religion. Cultural and educational right. Right to constitutional remedies. So if you understand this, it's all about the A, B, C, D, E, F. That is how the entire constitution is gone with. Now this is only the trick where you people can remember. That is what I'm telling. This is called the ACT, Abhilash Chandra tricks. Now here, there are 6 fundamental rights. There was one more right called right to property. Right to property. But later it was abolished. So now you don't have right to property as a fundamental right. So these are the 6. The first one is right to equality. So everybody should be treated equal. Whether it is the caste, creed, gender, it can be anything, the religion, everyone, whoever are born in India or people who are Indians. So they have the basic right, that is right to equality. Next is, we have got independence, right? That is, we have got the independence in 1947, the 15th of August. From then, if you understand, the way we adopted the constitution was 26th November 1949 and the inaugural happened on 26th of January 1950. So there the Indian constitution, it says that the fundamental rights is right to freedom. It's a very basic right, right to freedom. But freedom doesn't mean whatever you want to do, you will be doing it. No. Nobody else should have a problem with that freedom what you are having right now. So that you are supposed to understand. Right against exploitation. Anybody who is exploiting you, you have all the right to go against them. But again, there is something called law. You are supposed to not take law in your own hands. You need to report it. You need to go to the police. You are supposed to tell the police what exactly you are being going through. Then the police will take action and they will actually solve the problem. Right to freedom of religion. The freedom is there, right? Right to freedom is the same. Right to freedom of what? Of religion. You have all the freedom of the religion. Cultural and educational right. Please understand, the drafting committee chairman B.R. Ambedkar, Baba Sahab, he always used to say, education is a weapon for anything and everything. So that's the reason they have drafted as if the cultural and education right. That is, education is a must. It should be a right of every citizen. Right to constitutional remedies. Any kind of constitutional remedies are there, we are supposed to claim it. That is the reason the democracy was given to Indians. The fundamental duties. Here, there are 11 fundamental duties. How many are there? 11 fundamental duties. Earlier, we had only 10 fundamental duties. One is added. Now, I'll tell you when it was added and what exactly that fundamental duties is. Now, if anywhere you are being asked that how many fundamental duties India have in the Indian Constitution, please don't tell there are 10. There are how many? There are 11 fundamental duties. The first thing is to abide. To abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions. The national flag and the national anthem, that is your fundamental duty. That means you need to abide by the Constitution. The ideals you are supposed to go through. See, it is for us, right? So we need to actually say, yes, this is your ideology and we respect it. Next, see, if we don't respect, who else will respect? That's the reason. Duty means what? It's the obligation. It's what? The obligation. Okay, next is to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. We should always rejoice, we should always cherish the people who have actually given us this independence. To uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. We should always be there for India. And we need to uphold what? The sovereignty, the unity and the integrity of India. To defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. We should always be ready. So it is not about we should always be ready to sacrifice our life for India. No, it is not like that. We should be always ready to take somebody's life if India is in threat. So that is what I always go with it. That's why the soldiers are there, right? Whenever, however, and whomever, if you approach it to any of the soldiers will always say, we are here protecting the borders, but what is happening inside India? What is actually India is going through? See, India is going through corruption. India is going through, say, monopoly in some of the business ideologies or the business concepts, where rich is actually getting richer, the poor is getting poorer. So what the soldiers usually say is, if we also forget our duty and come back to our home, what will happen? So that's a reason we should always respect our soldiers and we should always have that gratitude that whoever are helping India develop, we need to always be there with them. And whenever India is in need, we should all go and defend our country. We should always give service, right? We should give what? Service to whom? For the motherland. We should always be there to give it. And it is, don't you feel, it's our fundamental duty to also protect people who are inside India. We should also give our service within India. It's not just about the borders, it is also within India. We should always. That's why you should be a disciplined citizen of India. You should be self-disciplined. Rather than being disciplined, you should be what? Self-disciplined. So these are the fundamental duties. Now I've given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Say here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I've given here 4. The next one is to promote harmony. Now we should promote what? Harmony. The brotherhood should be there. To promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all people of India, transcending religion, linguistic. When I say religion, all religion are same. We are supposed to treat people as people. Linguistic, languages, and regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practice derogatory to the dignity of women. So we should always respect whom? The women. Women are to be respected. To value and preserve rich heritage of our composite culture. India is full of heritage. The heritage richness is so good. To protect and improve the natural environment including forest, lake, river, wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. To develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. To safeguard public property and to abjure violence. We should not destroy public property, because which public property if we destroy, or whichever public property we destroy, who is the person to be blamed? The common man, because again the tax will be taken by whom? By the common man. So it is for us, right, to be used, not to be destroyed. So I have seen in my journey within Mysore and somewhere else also, any strike happens, any kind of a thing happens, right, any chaos happens, what people usually they used to do earlier, they used to burn the buses. Now the buses is from whom? From the taxpayer, right? So why are you destroying it? That was always my question. When I learned about fundamental duties, I thought that this should be told to each and every person, that the fundamental duty for any citizen is what? To safeguard public property and to adjure violence. Violence should not happen. Now people love violence. I really don't know why they are in that mood actually. Next is to strive towards excellence. We should be the best of the best in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the national constantly rises to higher level and endeavor and achievement. So that is why we should be the best of the best. See, even here if you go with it, I always feel that from the fundamental duties only, many entrepreneurs and many management gurus, they have taken this. And even if I tell you this, you will be surprised. Please understand, F.W. Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor, in his scientific principles of management, he has said that development of each and every individual to his or her greatest efficiency. Do you feel this is also the same kind of a thing? To strive towards excellence in all sphere of individual and collective activity. Why? So that the nation will develop. Who is a parent or guardian to provide opportunities for education to his child, or has the case may be, ward between the age of 6 to 14 years, give them education. That is your basic duty, fundamental duty. According to the 86th constitutional in 2002, this is added. So till here we had 10, this is added in 2002. It is a duty of the people of India to adapt and make India a safer place to live, to be clean and make the surrounding clean, and not to hurt anybody physically and mentally. That is also added in 2002 in the 86th amendment. That is the 86th constitutional. So here, please understand, we should keep our surrounding clean. We should not hurt anybody mentally as well as physically. It is the basic fundamental duty a person should go through. Next is the directive principle of state policy. This is a very, very important topic which you are supposed to understand. It is mainly you people, whoever learn or whoever wants to learn more about the constitution, DPSP is actually one of the very good topic in the entire constitution of India. So directive principle of state policy is also known as DPSP, are a set of guidelines or principles outlined in part 4. Now here DPSP, here the first part of India, the total there are 22 parts which is divided. Now the first part, it's all about the union, the territory and the things. The second is all about citizenship. The third is about the fundamental rights. The fourth one, here we have the fundamental duties as well as the directive principle of state policy. So here DPSP are what? They are the set of guidelines or the principles outlined in part 4 of the Indian Constitution meant to guide the state in the establishing welfare state and promoting social justice and economic development. That is a very, very important topic. The DPSP are non-justiciable. That's the only problem here. They are non-justiciable. Anything happened to the fundamental right, they are justiciable. But DPSP is non-justiciable. Provision in the Constitution of India, which means they are not enforceable by court but serve as guiding principles for the welfare as well as the government policy making and legislation to secure the welfare of the people. DPSP are aimed at promoting a fair and just society by directing the government to implement policies to ensure the well-being of citizens, including social, economic and cultural rights. That is what the main feature of DPSP is. Now the objectives, why we need DPSP. First is social welfare. Next is economic security. The next one is improved standard of living. DPSP actually increases the standard of living. So social welfare, how in the sense ensure social and economic justice by promoting the welfare of the people, especially marginalized section of society. Economic, that is aim to reduce economic inequality by ensuring equitable distribution of wealth and resources. See, these are the things which they have done before 1950, right? Now we are talking about 2024. If we would have taken DPSP in a very serious manner and it was supposed to be justiciable, now economic security would be secured. See, now in India what is happening? More than the socialistic economy and the capitalistic economy, we have taken the mixed economy where you have socialistic as well as capitalistic features. But now the capitalistic feature is more than the socialistic. That's why the rich is getting richer. The poor is getting poorer. Now this wealth and resources, when I tell you about this equitable distribution, it is not happening. Don't you feel that? Is it happening or it is not happening? You should actually come in. Improved standard of living. Now here, work towards enhancing the standard of living for all citizens with a focus on the less fortunate sections of the society. We should always think about the people, right? The bichade people. That is what we are supposed to go with. Next is equal opportunity. DPSP always aims at one thing, that is give opportunity equally. So promote equality of opportunity in education, employment and other field, ensuring that no one is discriminated against due to the caste, creed, religion or gender. Right to education, that is what DPSP had the main objective, that is ensure free and compulsory education for children up to a certain age, that is says from 6 to 14. Promotion of health and nutrition. See, India had something called the malnutrition problem. Now it has been eradicated, right? Direct the state to improve public health, sanitation and nutrition, particularly for vulnerable group. That's why even in Anganwadi and other places, Asha Kirana places, you get to see that the nutritious food are being given to the kids. Why? Because we need to actually make sure their health and nutrition is maintained. Significance of DPSP. Why DPSP? What exactly are the significance? The first is provision for a uniform civil code. Now we people are talking about this 2024, we are talking about uniform civil code. So DPSP was written before, isn't it? So the state should strive to secure a common set of law for all citizens regardless of religion. That is what DPSP went with. But as a demerit, there was non-justiciable, right? So people couldn't go with it. Right to adequate livelihood, that is Article 39A, ensures that all citizens have the right to a livelihood that is adequate to meet their needs, their basic needs. Social and economic justice, promote a just society by reducing inequalities of income, wealth, and opportunities. That's the main significance of DPSP. Now, when we go more about it, right to free and compulsory, please understand, right to free and compulsory education. Ensure that children up to the age of 14 receives free and compulsory education. Protection of childhood and youth. So safeguard children and youth from exploitation and ensure their well-being. There are so many acts, right? POSCO Act was also being introduced for welfare of the childhood and the youth. Here, promotion of health and nutrition, that is Article 47. It says that anywhere in India, if you see that malnutrition was a common thing. See, DPSP in 1947, 48, 49 and 50, if you go with it, the way the constitutional reformers and the people who wrote the constitution, they thought about it in those time itself. That is, we need to eradicate malnutrition. That's why it was being given. The state of responsible for raising the standard of living and improving public health, particularly by tackling malnutrition. This is what the main significance and the objective of DPSP is, to maintain their livelihood, to maintain the health of people, to give them education, to give them all equal kind of opportunities. So don't you feel DPSP is actually something which we should have used from the minute we adopted the constitution? So anything regarding this session, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.